chair?
Well, we have a vice chair. We need to know if the vice chair wants to assume the job. That's the first question that I would have.
Well.
That's kind of the logic of if the chair's
Yes.
not there, you know.
Might not be a yes or no.
You know,
She gets to answer.
I think that I would be willing to serve as chair if I knew that, I guess it would depend on the work plan. So, a little bit. But I mean, yes, you know, I enjoy doing this kind of work, and I enjoy working for the community, and so, you know, to that extent, yes. But I think my main thing about whether or not I'd want to continue in this sort of position with the committee is, you know, I wouldn't want to bring us through a process, particularly obviously with regard to King Street, if we weren't all on board that there might be significant compromise to the chamber proposal, like that there could be changes to it. And so if we're not really all on board with at least the possibility of going through and looking at that proposal and all the public input and everything comprehensively, which it sounds like what Wayne has suggested in his memo is one way to do that.
We have another recommendation.
You know, if everybody's on board with the idea that the chamber proposal might not leave this committee intact, but it might. It's fine, but I'm just saying that we're all open to the possibility of really working with it and being open to a lot of possibilities. Then I'm willing to help, you know, help bring the committee through that process. But if there's going to be like a lot of resistance to any change to it at all, then I think it's going to be really difficult for me to help us to do that, you know, or any chair for that matter.
Well, it sounds like you want to wait to hear what the plan is. There's a plan that Wayne's suggested, and there's a plan that the three of us have for tonight. Should we do that next, and then you'll come back to it, or do other people want to talk about the chair?
Does it make sense to continue to have an interim chair until we get our 2 new people?
We could.
How about we vote her in for the month?
Chair of the month.
Consensus.
I can
And then at the
continue
end of the
as
month, you'll know
interim
what-
chair until we have a work plan, and, you know, I know that there's a few people who are thinking or have been asked to think about whether they want to be chair or vice chair on the committee, so, you know, maybe if we want to do some more thinking about it and working on the work plan, I'm happy to serve a couple more meetings until, you know, we revisit, unless that makes people feel uncomfortable to not have a chair. I mean, I don't know that it matters that much. We're a small enough committee at this point, but
So
do we
that just
really need a chair?
That just raises the issue of who's going to be the interim vice chair in case you can't come to one of the meetings. We might
Right.
want to just
Do something
designate
on the
that.
fly too.
We can just designate somebody.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be that formal, but
Well, I appreciate your offer of certainly several offers now, but maybe the interim idea is a good one, especially in light of what you said about, you know, your feelings of where things are going with the plan. Because I mean, otherwise we're just going to launch into a big discussion right now that might not get us anywhere.
okay.
So I like that idea.
So we're good with deciding not to decide? You seem like
Well,
you're about to say anything.
I think you're going to be a leader in the room no matter what, so.
Well, we agreed to decide not to decide for a month. I think we definitely, if we
Yeah,
agreed
for
to
a
that.
couple
It's just,
meetings.
it's not
Until
indefinite.
it seems like we at least have the work plan in
Or
place.
possibly by the end of this meeting, if the work plan meets with sufficiently with your willingness to serve as chair under it.
Is there anybody else who has any interest in serving as chair? Tom, do you have any interest in serving as chair?
Well, I'm sorry, I'd be vice chair maybe, if it comes to that.
Because I have thought about the possibility that it doesn't make sense for a technical, I mean, maybe it makes sense for an outreach person to be leading this committee. Part of the committee's charge is to represent our community in a way that, you know, I've only lived in Northampton for 2 years. I feel like it's my home, and certainly it was the first place that ever felt like home to me, but like, I'm not an old timer here, you know? I mean, it might make sense for an outreach person who's been part of this community for a really long time to lead the committee. So, that's something else to just think about as we sort of think about our next steps. So,
I don't think you should, I think, you live in Northampton, that's good enough. I've been at meetings where people say you haven't lived here long enough to have an opinion, and I don't believe that at all. So, I think if you want to do it.
And not only
I
that,
wonder about
we're coming down the home stretch, it's 6 more months left. You've been the vice chair, you've been in this leadership position along with Joel, but now would be you. And why change the proverbial horses thing too? Because I think you're fine. That's not 2 years is not
with a review. All right, let's revisit then. So we'll take a look when it seems appropriate